Welcome to SEO Gurus. In today's episode, we welcome Adam Riemer. Adam is an award-winning digital marketing strategist, keynote speaker, affiliate manager, and growth consultant with more than 20 years of experience. His agency creates and executes integrated and growth marketing strategies based on data points and ROI. From top funnel affiliate marketing to SEO, email, and conversion optimization, he helps brands of all sizes grow and scale. This episode is brought to you by GHA Marketing, and we hope you'll enjoy our conversation with Adam. So, Adam, this is about I would need to check the exact number, but 10th or 12th episode, maybe a bit earlier, whatever, in this range. And we haven't talked on this podcast yet about keyword optimization. And I was so much looking forward to this episode because I want to deep dive into keyword optimization. So, can you, I guess, let's start with the definitions, right? What is even keyword optimization?
So keyword optimization years ago was trying to optimize a specific web page for a specific keyword or phrase in a search engine so that your page would show up for it. However, Google and other modern search engines evolved over time, incorporated machine learning, and now they look at topics and look at entities. So instead of optimizing for a specific keyword or phrase, what you want to do is you want to start optimizing for an answer and a solution for that person. For example, if you wanted to show up for a specific type of food that you could prepare, you could start typing the ingredients in. And if you leave one or two out, it's going to show you a rich result of potential possible types of foods you can make with those ingredients. If you add one more ingredient to it, it's going to narrow the result. Another option is if you're looking for how to fix something, you just know the pieces or the parts or specifics about the model. It's going to automatically assume what the product or solution is and then provide a result, whether it's a web page or it's a video or something else. So instead of optimizing for the keyword, you want to optimize for the user experience, which includes the keyword in part. The keyword, you can still find a search volume, which is how many people are searching each month. It's just an estimation, and that gives you an idea of how many people are looking for that specific phrase or the wording they're using. But that doesn't mean you want to incorporate it and stuff it all over the page. You want to provide a good user experience with a real and usable answer.
So I love this. And for the background, I'm from the podcast world, slowly getting into the SEO world. And there is a very funny definition going around right now, which is podcast platforms are not well optimized when it comes to search and SEO. And actually, one of the recommendations we often give is that you should do keyword optimization in the podcast platforms like you used to do keyword optimization for Google in 2000, meaning just keyword stuffing. Like you put as many keywords as possible related to your stuff. So can you walk us through what has been the evolution over the years of keywords when it comes to actual applications? Like when you would be doing keyword optimization in 2000, what did it look like versus 2005, 2010, up until now? What has been the typical evolution?
Yeah, in the early 2000s, you had a meta keywords tag that got deprecated because it was abused, and you could stuff keywords into there and say, hey, these are the keywords the page should show up for. You would also, back then, stuff the keyword into the title tag, into your H tags, and H tags are the header tags, H1, H2, H3, H4. There was a thing called keyword density, which got abused, and it never really was a thing, but it could have been a thing, where it's the amount of times you mention a specific keyword or phrase per 100 keywords on the page. And back then, it was just about keyword stuffing and optimizing, and keywords are what led to, I believe, the very first penalty from a search engine, which was the BMW website, if I remember correctly, where they were hiding keywords and keyword-stuffed content behind an image or using something else. I don't remember exactly what it was. And keywords just continuously got abused, just like links got abused, because links were the next big signal back in a long time ago. So search engines had to find other ways to determine what the value of a page was. So they invented machine learning. They looked at topical relevance between pages, what the actual intent is. With the Google leaks that happened, things that SEOs had mostly assumed like using dwell time or click through onto a specific page. Those all were things that we assumed were real, and now it just adds some validity to the theories and also disproves others. For example, there's Mechanical Turk from Amazon, which you would use in online reputation management, where it just hits a page and you can get that page to drop by selecting the others or vice versa and retrieving a specific piece of information. So modern keyword optimizations don't rely on the keyword. It relies on the wording around it. It relies on the internal links from your website, the schema that you're using. It relies on, to an extent, the links that are pointing to your website, the quality of them, the topics and keywords around those links with the intent, and if they're natural or not. That's part of keyword optimization now. You probably do want the keyword in your title tag when it's relevant and necessary. And you probably want it in an H tag when it benefits the user, when it makes it easier for the user to thumb through the page and find the topic of the section they're looking for. These are ways you can naturally incorporate the phrase in and help the search engine understand the section as well as the user. And that helps you prevent competing pages as well.
Okay, that makes sense. So, but how do you actually tactically do that? Like, can you lay down the process to do proper keyword optimization now? From, I guess, strategy through planification, ideation, execution, like how does it all work in sequence to make sure that I'm optimizing correctly without trying to play against the rules of search engines and whilst delivering value to the actual end users? How do I tactically do that?
Yeah, sure. Give me a topic. Pretend like what do you sell in your store or something? Just make
podcast microphones.
Okay. And is this going to be a page that you want to sell them on, or is this a guide to buying them, or what is the topic of the page?
No, I love that. Okay, so let's do both. Let's do this as a kind of top funnel asset, meaning, hey, I want to use it as a, something that to make people aware of my brand, that I deliver value. And then what would you do differently if it was to get people to purchase podcast microphones? I'm not selling podcast microphones, just a disclaimer here. But how would you do that differently exactly?
Okay, we're still going to keep asking you some questions next. This is what I do with my clients in real time. And this is the exact way that we do our keyword research and our keyword planning and topic mapping. So for our blog post, since you said that first, or our articles and comparison guides, well, what are our 3 biggest sellers? What are our 3 biggest competitors? What are the most common uses for the podcasting microphone? And what are the top 10 complaints that people have about them? Is it there's noise disruption? Is there a fuzzy sound? Is it picking up background noises? Is there too much spit gathering on the little fabric thing before the microphone and it's not easy to clean? Is it the lifespan? What are these issues? Then I'm going to ask which ones are the best, which ones are the worst. Now I'm going to go, what are the top reasons they get returned? Each of these becomes what goes into a comparison. If you're trying to so if you're a retailer that sells other brands, now you can build a comparison guide and say, look, these are essentially similar. One costs $100 less, where you're going to sacrifice this, but you're going to gain this. That shows that you actually are helping the end user, making them make an informed decision, which is where your topical relevance comes in, where your authority. There's this concept called EEAT. It's not an actual thing, but it is a concept you can apply to your content to build consumer trust, which in theory should help build your ability to rank. And these are things that are important for review and comparison content. If you're writing a guide to reducing background noise and outside noise for your podcast microphone, for example, you don't need to worry about the specific models, but you can make mentions of models and how they've evolved over time, especially if you're a brand on your own. And what you want to do is talk about the things in the microphone that caused it, the ways they were improved, any technology advancements that actually ruined the quality but enhanced it in another way. And these are things that show you know your stuff, build authority for the post and the page, because it's practical, real knowledge from an experienced individual writing it for the user. And you want to use common spoken language. So you would do French, since you're a native French speaker and probably writing in French. I would do American English because I'm American and I'm speaking English right now. So it's like, these are the different ways you can do that. As far as the product page to sell a product, what I do there is I don't worry at all about defining what a microphone is. Person already knows they're looking to buy one. What I want to do there is I want to help them make the decision. So what is this particular microphone going to be compatible with? What is it not going to be compatible with? What is the lifespan? What types of computers or software does it work best with? And where is it going to help with my workflow versus adding extra steps into my workflow? What type of issues am I going to run into? And is there going to be a warranty? Is there a guarantee? Is it discontinued? And am I going to be able to find parts later on? These are all things that help the consumer make that purchase between that particular microphone. And as you begin mentioning it, you could say, now, if this is important to you, this is not the right microphone for you to use. So instead, buy this model. That gives you a natural internal link to that model. And that goes back to your keywords, because that could be, you could say, more advanced podcasting microphones, and link to your category or collection page if you're in the Shopify atmosphere. And then you're getting that internal link, which helps with your keyword optimizations, and you're helping the user at the same time. So that's why it's considered natural. And these are all things that help to provide a better user experience and show search engines you are there to help the user and provide a great experience. That's how you can optimize for keywords while driving conversions.
I think you're the first person who is mentioning to me, like, what's the worst microphone ever or whatsoever. Because I was thinking, wait, that's super interesting. Are people actually Googling, hey, what are the top 10 worst microphone for podcasting? I was like, surely not. I mean, at least I hope not. What they are looking for is the top 10 best microphone. But then here you mentioned, hey, it's not actually to say, hey, here are the top 10 worst microphones, like, but those are maybe the microphones that are not compatible with your system. And here are other options that would be compatible and best for your specific workflow. I love that nuance. That's really, really good. So that's for like strategy and planification. How do you execute on this? In the sense of, do you have a typical structure like that you want to have to optimize for keyword, but at the same time, because, okay, let me raise this question. A landing page or a selling page needs to be structured in a certain way that you want eventually to lead the person towards the purchase, right? And this takes kind of, hey, problem statements, added value, ideally testimonials or product reviews if we're talking about microphones, right? Here is what you can expect. Here's what you cannot expect. Like typically, hey, like taking people down towards the decision. But how do you insert in all this? How do you actually execute on making keyword optimization so that the search engines will also lead people towards this specific landing page and not another one? It's a bit of a long-tailed question, but does that make sense? And how do you
it's actually a pretty easy answer. And once your websites have equal authority, Google or a search engine has to choose between the two. So which is the better experience? We'll stick with your podcasting microphones. What I would do is, if it was a comparison post or something where people are trying to decide, I would add in some form of, what would that be called? Some sort of hearing sound clip. Sorry, a sound clip is what I was thinking of. And I would say, I would record using the same exact level, the same exact decibels, and say, here's what it sounds like. You can play for yourself. Here's what it sounds like with music in the background. Here's what it sounds like with a child screaming or a dog barking or something, just to show the differences in the quality you're getting for the price. That's something a lot of people forget. And on the product pages, I wouldn't just show images. I would actually include a video, and I would include some of those sound clips as well, because this is something where you need to record. It's for a professional type of thing. You're going to be displaying it. You want to know how it actually works. The sites that are not providing this type of extra information, extra step, they're going to have a disadvantage because they're not helping the end user as well as you are. So the end user cannot make as an informed as.
Hey, if you're still listening to this, you probably find this conversation interesting, and that means that others might too. So the best way you can support this podcast for free is to leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this show. This helps the podcast more than I could say. It means other SEOs can learn and get access to our amazing guests, and that will mean the world to me. All right, with that being said, back to the episode.
As much of an informed decision as you would be helping them make.
Something I often see in content online, right? Mostly on articles, but I think I'm starting to see it on other type of pages as well, on FAQs. Like, what's your view on this? What's your take on this? Should our pages include FAQs? And what about product pages? And what about category pages? Like, when are those type of features relevant for a page and when are they not?
FAQs are only relevant to a page when they help the user and when they're relevant only to that specific topic. If you're selling podcast microphones and it's just blue ones, for example, you don't need to answer if it's on a category page just featuring blue ones. You don't have to define and say what a podcast microphone is. You might want to talk about the blue color, how blue impacts the vibrations of the noise, or maybe light impacts sound waves or something. And that's specific to a blue microphone because of the blue paint on it. So it belongs on the blue page, but it does not belong on a blue microphone product page because the only FAQs that belong on that product page are about that specific make and model of microphone, because that's what will help the user at that point of their journey. If it's on a blog post or if it's on a guide that's indexable, you don't need an FAQ unless it occurs naturally. Stuffing in, people love to go out and grab people also ask and other questions they see in featured results. That's just spamming. It works for a while, then you get caught, then your entire site starts to get devalued, and then you lose your rankings. Don't just tie in FAQs. Add them in when they're relevant. And I could easily see statements replacing FAQs as the next round of spam, where people will say, this is how you do it, or just putting the answer as the header instead. It's a better user experience. It's less spammy, but once it gets abused, you're going to have to go back to what we did before both of this, which is just providing good content without the fluff, without the extra, without just explaining what something is when the person already knows. It's about meeting the customer or the consumer, whether it's content or a product, at their current stage.
What I love about SEO, and it's not specifically related to keyword optimization, but just in general, is that, and I mean, let's mention Google, because Google is the biggest search engine so far, at least for like Western society. Point being, the thing we need to just bear in mind is what will benefit the end users the most. Google will always try to provide valuable content to its users because Google wants to keep users on their platform. If they start not providing good value or good content, people will go on another platform. And I love this logic of simply saying, hey, what's going to be the most valuable for the users, both in terms of content, but users' experience? And you base your strategy on this, and that is for sure a winning strategy on the long term. Because sometimes maybe you will be able to do like tons of keyword stuffing to optimize short term, but you will get penalized. Sometimes you might be able to do like tons of backlinks, but eventually you'll get penalized. Whereas if you always think, okay, I'm producing great content, I'm getting great high quality links, that's how I'm going to be doing on the long term to win. And what you just explained here is that, again, FAQs for the sake of FAQs has no point. It's like, what will provide value to the user? And is there actually a better way than the FAQ to provide that value? If so, no FAQs. If not, FAQs for sure. I love this, and it's much better when I'm not muted. Adam, we have more and more SERP features appearing, right? Again, talking about Google mainly. There is the helpful content focus. There is the people often ask. There is the little bio. I don't even remember how it's called. The little thing on the right. You have the AI generated. Not AI generated, but AI answered, and so on. You have the Reddit answers now. Point being, the SERP features keep on changing and keep on improving. How do you properly adapt when it comes to keyword optimization based on these constantly evolving and changing SERP features?
SERP features aren't reliant on keywords. SERP features are reliant on the authority of the page, the easy way is making it easier for a search engine to understand what each section on the page is, because they'll dive deep and pull out random pieces of content and combine it in. And then it's combined with your schema that you have, because the schema is what feeds what each part of the page is. It could say there is an article here, and nested inside the article is a video. Nested inside the article, how-to schema has been deprecated, But there was a point in time where you could have how-to schema in there, and you could have FAQ schema in there. And FAQ schema is what appended the questions to your SERP feature. A lot of these things are just done because you need your video object. You have a podcast, for example. There is podcasting schema. There's also event schema where you're selling tickets or you're not selling tickets, or there's a local event. If you're a business, you can have area served and define, hey, we are a business that serves just this region, just this county. We serve all of the United States. We serve all of Paris. And then you define that. So you help the search engines know, hey, we have an event. It's occurring here on this date at this time, and it's in this city and accessible this way. These are the different ways you can help to get some of the SERP features. But keyword stuffing and using keywords is a very small part of it. It's more about building the relevance, building the signals, and showing that you have the right answer for it. You're going to want to name the article and have the keywords there, but don't focus on keywords alone. Focus on the solution that causes it.
And one of the exercises that I want to launch, and it's going to be the second episode that we are doing this with, is, we are talking about SEO, right? This is the theme of this podcast. And what I want to do is to ask the main question of this episode to Google, and then, talking about SERP features, go to people also ask and ask you the questions that people most frequently ask. So obviously, I'm not going to ask the ones that with all of the answers, right? How do you optimize for keywords? How is SEO optimization done? How do I find SEO optimization keywords and so on? So I'm going to skip the ones that I feel we have already answered. But here are my top 3, 4. So the first one is, and it's voluntarily that I pick this one, because it can be a good or a bad question, I think. Okay, I'm stopping teasing. I stopped teasing the question. What is the best way to optimize for keyword density?
I think that if you're optimizing for keyword density, I got a book on how to make $20 million in an hour. And it only cost you $30 million. I also stopped using people also asked. Once it became a paid service, I found a different one that I like better. This is just personal preference. It's like making a choice between SEMrush, Moz, and Ahrefs. Like, it's whichever one you use best. After people also asked started charging, which they have every right to. If you're going to offer software, you should be able to charge. I found Also Asked, which is owned, I think, by Mark Kander, Tafferboy or something on Twitter. And I really love the simplicity. And now they've created a combination with some of the popular crawlers. So you can actually go out, find your content, find questions that haven't been answered or topics that haven't been answered. And so I really like the flexibility there. And I've never actually met Mark. I think we may have had 1 or 2 interactions on Twitter. I'd love to one day. He seems brilliant. He runs a show called Search Norwick or something. I can't pronounce it. It's up there in England somewhere. But yeah, he built some really cool tools, and keyword density is just not a thing. If you're going to do that, snake oil, like it works till it doesn't, and then you pay the price. Go submit yourself to blog commenting, do forum submissions, directory submissions, use an article spinner, have ChatGPT write 10,000 articles and publish, and then magically you're out of topics, and wait, there's nothing new to write, and magically we became an expert and published everything within a month.
Yeah, I love this. So I guess, in a nutshell, what is the best way to optimize for keyword density? Don't. It's not about density, period. Cool. I love this question. How many keywords per 1,000 words?
That's keyword density. What you're asking.
True. But so should there be upper limits, or again, should it not be the concern at all?
Worry about providing the best answer. As you do that, the language will flow naturally. The topics will go, the variations. Search engines know the differences between specific words and phrases. They know the associations now. They know the synonyms. It all works, and it's part of entities. I did a blog post. I forget why I chose share for it, but I wrote about a 2,000-word post about entities using the Singer share. And if you would type in Sunny and, oh gosh, what's her child's name? But if you would type those two in, she shows up for the result. If you type in Sunny and Greg Allman, Cher's name shows up because she's the commonality between them. If you type in some of the actresses, then the movie shows up. It's like these are things that they know, so they can make the association, so you don't have to worry about repeating the same keywords throughout. Focus on giving the end user the best education in their reading and language level at their specific need. And that's how you rank for a keyword.
Amen to that. How much keyword difficulty is good for SEO?
I've never actually looked at or used keyword difficulty. I understand the importance of it, but I don't really consider it a challenge. Keyword difficulty is just what the tool assumes a keyword's difficulty is. It doesn't take into consideration how much branded search you have. It doesn't take into consideration you're about to have things go viral because your entire company is built on social media. So people start pounding with branded search once your next video goes live, and it's for that brand new product. So even if it says it's really heavily difficult, all of a sudden people are searching for, we'll just call it a Williams camera. And it'll be Williams Camera Blue. And now all of a sudden, because everyone's searching for your brand with Williams Blue Camera, people are now sending the signals to the search engines. You're going to start getting the links. You can start ranking for it. I don't really consider keyword difficulty a thing. Unless you're just starting out, maybe, but it's something that demotivates you from trying to even go for it. Someone has to rank for that. Why shouldn't it be you?
Amen to this. So, and on top of that, I would just add, keyword difficulty is a guesstimation, right? Because it's not an official ranking by Google. So it's, again, platforms, you mentioned them, as SEMrush, Ahrefs, Moz, who are giving an indication of how hard it is, they think, to rank on a certain keyword. And again, what I take away from this, Adam, is it shouldn't be the concern. Put out good content, focus on value. And yeah, obviously, in any niche that you're going to be, unless it's a brand new niche, there's going to be keywords that are difficult to rank for, but that you probably need to talk about anyways, because anybody checking out your content will want to hear your opinion about it. And there are others that you will end up ranking for because you've just tackled them in a good, valuable way, and it's hard, it's simpler to rank for them. A last one here, Adam. And I love, because it's interesting that when I ask how to do keyword optimization, then the questions are very general to SEO. But I like this one. How to be number one in SEO?
Get acquired by Google. They've had a very big tendency to rank their own platforms as number one, even when it's irrelevant and the worst possible experience. And there was a video that leaked recently from when a specific Googler who left said, well, we built this or something and we did it, so why shouldn't we feature it first? It's like, that's the only way. There is no guarantee. You don't control the algorithms. Then all of a sudden, enough people complain about parasite SEO, enough people complain about another thing. It changes. The only way to do it is just to continue to do your best, and don't worry about SEO. Consider it a byproduct of your general marketing. What you want to do is keep customers coming back, keep them brand loyal, keep them searching for you by name, keep them referencing you and sharing you. If they share you on X or they share you on LinkedIn, for example, I believe that the search engines, for the most part, can crawl. That lets them find your website again. It lets it find other people vouching for you. It brings them back to crawl more pages and new pages. Focus on your brand. Focus on your customers. And SEO is a really good byproduct that helps grow and scale your company and bring you new customers because you've built a really good company and a good experience.
Yeah, so long story short, if you don't have $2.31 trillion to purchase Google, which is the current market capitalization, you probably should do what Adam recommends to do. Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show. Actually, anything that I didn't ask you about keyword optimization that we should have talked about?
Honestly, I don't know. The insomnia's kicked in. So,
people listening to us now, if that's the case, please tell us. Let us know in the comments. Reach out to Adam or myself. And worst case, we record another episode. Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show. Hey, thank you so much for making it to the end. For more content updates, visit our website at ghapodcast.com. And don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn for more tips and insights on SEO. See you in the next episode.